Recently, we asked our readers on Substack to post pictures of their mountain bikes, and what we got was pretty wonderful. It was all pictures of bikes in their natural environment, set up the way people are actually riding them, and they're shot as they stand. The bike's just leaning against a tree, propped up on a rock, and what you end up with is a lot of personality and a story behind each bike, and that is precisely how the bike media does not take photos of bicycles. If you're reading a publication like Bicycling or Pink Bike and there's a review or a feature on a bicycle, it's gonna be set up a very specific way. You're gonna be looking at the drive side. The cranks are gonna be level. The seat post is gonna be at the same height. The wheels are gonna be spun in a certain orientation. There is an orthodoxy in the bike media and everybody follows it to a T. And if you don't, you are not cool. But in truth, if you're doing a bike review or featuring a bike, it is your responsibility to feature the bike. It is not about you. It is not about how you set up your bike. It is not about what you do with the bike. You are trying to portray the bike in such a way where readers can see themselves on it, where they can compare it to other bikes. And so there are very good reasons why the media adheres to certain guidelines when they're photographing bikes. And we're gonna talk about those guidelines today because you might be surprised how exhaustive they actually are. First of all, I almost never, actually I never photograph or video a bike by the guidelines of the bike media because I'm not actually bike media. So when I do it, I'm just kind of setting it up in a way that I think looks attractive. Not only are these guidelines not second nature to me, I actually didn't know what all the guidelines were before I started doing research for this video. But one of the things I already knew is that it would never be leaning against a tree like this. First of all, you want the bike to be in an appropriate environment for its use case. If it's a road bike, you want it on the road. If it's a mountain bike, you want it to look like it's out in the mountains. Here we have like park benches and fences and signs and stuff. We want all this out of the photo, and so we're gonna move to a place where we can just see the mountains. Now, the first thing I would do is find some kind of a prop stick to prop the bike up so I could take a photo of it, but actually that's not the best way to do it. That's not how the pros do it. I'm gonna show you the 1, 2, 3 method. 1, 2, 3. Really helpful to do this with 2 people, although you could use a self-timer and kind of wait for the little beep flashy thing. Yeah, you just want the bike out there standing up impossibly. Now, if you are watching this video from outside of bicycling, you're probably wondering why they don't just use a kickstand. We don't use kickstands. But aside from the environment here and the lighting and how I did the 1, 2, 3 method, everything else here is completely wrong. It's all wrong, all of it. The only thing I got right was the bike is drive side out. You always want the drive side facing the camera. You would never take a picture of the other side of the bike unless it was one of the secondary photos where you're showing the brakes or something like that. Next, this bike is set up for me. It is set up the way that I ride it. That's fine if you're doing a bike check, if you're taking a picture of a racer's bike or a YouTuber or something. But if you're doing a product photo, you want the bike completely free of personalizations. I have these bottle cages here. If you are going to show bottle cages, maybe to illustrate that the bike can hold 2 of them, you want them to be right entry so that they look like this. So water bottle goes in this side and there's no janky part of the bottle cage showing, but oftentimes they just remove the bottle cages, and so we're gonna do that right now. So the bike is free from my little personalizations, my bottle cages and pump, but also you wanna remove any reflectors or stickers or anything on the bike that the manufacturer may have put there. Once you have it in that state, you wanna make sure it's as clean can be, and this bike is not. I ride it. This is permissible sometimes for a race bike. It can be a little bit dirty, but not for a product feature. You want the bike to be absolutely clean. You wanna scrub it down, wash it. We're just gonna pretend this bike is perfectly clean, and I'll just kinda rub some of the dirt off of it for this video. So besides the fact this bike is not perfectly clean, do you notice anything else that's wrong here? Anyone? Well, it's in the wrong gear. So there, now we are in the correct gear. Fourth from the largest. Now, I'm sure across the entire cycling industry there are differences, but you want the derailleur to be in the same position on different bikes so people can compare. And so, yeah, why not decide on a gear to leave it in? So while we're talking about the drivetrain, the next thing you want to worry about are the cranks. You want that right crank arm to be forward, you want the cranks to be level, and you actually want the pedals to be level as well. Now these pedals I have on the bike might be permissible. They are appropriate for a trail bike like this. You want appropriate, attractive pedals, preferably neutral. You don't want like anodized pink pedals on the bike. You want something that's not going to detract from the rest of it, because after all, most trail bikes come without pedals and you put your own pedals on them. Although in a magazine, it's not very common to see the bike just standing there in the woods without pedals. That would be more for a product photo on the manufacturer's website. Here you do want some pedals, but you want neutral ones. So we're pretending this bike is clean, it's free of accessories, we have it in the right gear, our cranks are level, we have neutral pedals, and those are level as well. But my seat post over here, it's wrong in so many ways. It's wrong in every way it could be. As is common on a modern trail bike, this is a dropper seat post. You can adjust it on the fly. You're not supposed to have the dropper seat post fully extended on a trail bike. On a cross-country bike, you can have it fully extended because that's gonna be the default position for that type of bike. Cross-country bikes are for pedaling around really fast. Trail bikes are more for varied riding that includes a lot of descending, and so you wanna illustrate that the dropper post is there. But there's something else wrong, it's slammed. This is a custom bicycle that I had built to my specifications, and so I made it so that the dropper post would be at the exact perfect height for me when it is slammed into the frame. But you actually want to back it out of the frame a little bit, because most people who buy a trail bike are gonna have to adjust it a little bit to get it at their ride height. And so let's do both of those things. So that's a lot of stuff we just adjusted for the photo. I don't know if this is exactly up to spec. So yeah, you want your dropper post a little bit out of the frame, and then you want it sort of halfway, 3/4, something like that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff we need to do. First of all, you probably can't see it in a photo from here because it's on the non-drive side, but your sag indicators are supposed to be out of the way. If your sag indicator is visible, it should be against the crown, and on a full suspension bike, you want that sag indicator against the base of the shaft, right where it meets the shock, so that you don't see it. It shouldn't be like hanging off the end like you slammed it during a trail ride. So what else? What else could possibly be the matter here? Well, your wheels are actually supposed to be in a certain position. So when a professional installs tires on a bike, they're going to align the tire logo with the valve stem, and there's a variety of really good reasons they do that, but you actually want to spin the wheels into a certain position, valve stems pointing down. So because these wheels will now fall out of sync if I move the bike at all, this is going to be the last thing you want to do before you start taking pictures of your bike. But there are some other considerations. For example, if the bike has quick release levers on the through axles or skewers, you want them to be at an attractive angle, either in line with the bike or in line with the fork, whatever the manufacturer recommends for that bike or for that component. I have bolt-on through axles, and so it doesn't really matter. Now second, you want everything straight. I didn't mention that, but you obviously don't want the bars turned like that. You want these handlebars completely straight because you're trying to get this profile shot of the side of the bike. So that's it. We've gotten this bike like 93.5% to media spec. So now I'm gonna take a picture of it. I have it on a prop stick right now. I'm gonna hit my self timer. I'm gonna kick the stick out of the way, and then I'm gonna 1, 2, 3 it. Let me see if I can pull this off. I think we nailed it. So that's as close as I'm ever gonna get to a media spec picture of one of my bikes. There are a lot of good reasons for these guidelines. Like I said, if you're an author, if you're a bike reviewer, it's your responsibility to portray that bike in a neutral light where the reader can compare it to other bikes that they've seen. It's not about the author, it's about the bike, and it's about the reader who wants to be able to see themselves on that bike. And so these guidelines have a very good place in bike media. But not pictures of your bike and not pictures of my bike. I think that you should take a picture of your bike how it stands. The crank should be in whatever position they ended up in. The gear should be whatever gear you were just in on the trail. It should be a snapshot of that day, of that experience that you were having on the bike. Leave it dirty, leave it how it stands. Show a picture of the non-drive side. I like bike photos to be interesting. I like bike photos to tell a story. And so I hope that as a result of this video, people don't start photographing their bikes like that. Yeah, I understand on Instagram, sometimes you want that perfect photo of your bike, but we have plenty of those photos all over the internet, and I like the ones that are more natural. Thank you to all of you who have joined Berm Peak's Substack, where we post these videos 2 weeks early, and we include articles written by some of the most interesting voices in mountain biking. That recent video on helmet safety actually has an article attached to it that gives you additional insight. We also have discussions, people are posting pictures of their mountain bikes. Even if you sign up on the free tier, you're gonna get the occasional freebie article, and you can help me break free from the algorithm. Actually, you can break yourself free from the algorithm on Substack. You're in control of what you see. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into how the media takes mountain bike photos. I hope you don't start taking photos like that for all the reasons I mentioned. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't, I hope you at least found this entertaining. Thanks for riding with me today. I'll see you next time.